Trigger warning. The following is an editorial, and it's totally my opinion. You do not have to agree with me. If you don't want to hear me badmouth this creator, stop watching now. What's up, nerds? It's your boy, the OGGM, coming to you live at 9:10 in the morning on this, the 6th day of September in the year of our Lord Hello Kitty 2023. It's about 70 degrees and hazy, foggy here at Site B, and it is time to once again dredge up this unnecessary nonsense. Our good friend Makenzie De Armas is making the rounds because next month, or actually the month after next month, the Book of Many Things is coming out. We've already discussed her rather unusual statements. Many people have responded very poorly to her statements. Only a few people have responded positively to her statements. Now I'm gonna before I dive into the ugliness of this or the positivity of this, I'm gonna make two statements. First, I understand that Makenzie De Armas is portraying a character. And she is saying the things she feels she needs to say because of the position she is in. And a lot of that, especially if you read these articles, feels like it was scripted for her in the worst way possible. We may never know what the real Makenzie thinks or feels about the situation because of the position she has been placed in and because of the character she's been chosen to have to play. You know, I mean, she's only been playing D&D for like 5 years, and yet she's being told by other people to call herself an expert. She works for Wizards of the Coast, where this thought is being forced upon her. And she obviously is just regurgitating the latest pop culture, pop sci information without doing any actual research into the status of people who are neurodivergent in this point in time. So, despite everything I might about to say about her that is going to be negative, I also feel kind of bad for her. Because now that she's said this and it's being reinforced by these articles, it's out there. And it is going to be stuck to her until Wizards of the Coast decides to shuffle her under the table and put somebody else in the picture. When was the last time we heard from Kyle? Or Gini Darling? Yeah. Second, I think this is a matter of what she said as opposed to what she meant to say. And we're going to get into that when we talk about the creation. So as we know, Makenzie has made a name for herself by claiming that her character helped create the Deck of Many Things, and her character is the first canonically autistic character in D&D. Now, there's a lot of things wrong with these statements. And right now it's looking like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 6 different websites covering this, all of them basically saying the exact same thing. So Makenzie made a generic cut and paste interview and then basically either read it off during her conversations with these magazines or just sent them to them with a few minor changes. So this one is from... we're going to go to the Polygon one because they're one of the few people that actually know about gaming. I mean, you know, the fact that esport gaming is talking about this, you don't know the first thing about D&D. Superhero Hype has got the same thing. It's like, dude, again, you're not a D&D thing. At least Polygon has the chops that they've been around in D&D for a long time. All right, so Dungeons & Dragons introduces its first canonically autistic character. Okay, we don't call them autistic anymore. We either call them on the spectrum or neurodiverse. All right. So if you were correct with the current wordage as used by disability advocacy in the year 2023, you would know we no longer refer to ourselves as autistic or Asperger's. We refer to ourselves as on the spectrum or neurodivergent. I have been diagnosed with high functioning autism. I have worked with special needs kids for 20 years. You know, and I you know, from having a little classroom, being in the back and, you know, being beat up all the way up to today, I know the correct wordage has changed as the study of the disability has changed. So we don't refer to ourselves as autistic, and it is never the first thing either. You know, it's not, hi, I'm Makenzie. I'm autistic and my name is Makenzie. It's, hi, I'm the OGGM, blah, 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 blah. And I also happen to be on the spectrum. So the individual first language is not being used correctly here, and the correct wordage that we currently use. So the correct wordage would be that this character exists and also happens to be on the spectrum or neurodivergent. So Makenzie discusses how things. Now, here's the second thing. Apparently, we thought Mackenzie's character only appears in a little bit of the book. No, the entire book is written from her point of view by you. Makenzie, basically, this is a pop ed self-gratification piece about what her character did. The whole thing is written by her from her perspective. So what Makenzie should have said, meant to say, is her character helped create the deck of many things that appears in this book. And it is a separate deck of many things because, one, there's more than one the deck of many things. Okay? Two, there's several variations of the deck of many things. And three, most importantly, the lore of the deck of many things has already been established. Historically, the deck of many things first appeared in 1975 and was copyrighted by Gary. Okay. The canon for the deck of many things from Greyhawk is that it was created by Bokobob and Zaggy. And the canon for the deck of many things in the realms, it was created during the time of the Nethes. That has been established. Now, when 5e came out, the deck of many things appeared. So we know that that deck of many things existence predates Makenzie even playing D&D, because Mackenzie's only been playing for 5 years, despite the fact she refers to herself as one of the best DMs in the world. Or at least she's being told to refer to herself. Now, also, there is no canon. There is no canon. There is no canon. What is the one thing Jeremy Crawford and Chris Perkins have been repeatedly telling us for the past 3 years and going forward into the 5-year arc from 2023 to 2027? The canon before 2024 does not count. The canon before 2014 does not count. There is no canon other than what's in the Player's Handbook. The only thing that is canon is Player's Handbook, DM's Guide, Monster Manual. Everything else is optional to your specific campaign. In the official timeline that's in their heads from day one, Mines of Foundelver, all the way up to 2024, the return to the Mines of Foundelver, there is a consistent story that they have told, but it is up to each individual DM to decide how that story plays out and whether they ever use any of those adventures or not. There's plenty of 5e players out there and games out there who aren't using any of the published material at all. And Crawford has repeatedly said, Makenzie, there is no canon. Finally, you're not the first canonical character who is on the spectrum in D&D. That distinct nominee goes to Elmo, who appears in the village of Hamlet. So we have this thing that she made, and she is described that her character is a princess who turned Paladin, and she helps us throughout the book with commentary, jokes, and other little flourishes meant to make fun to read it on its own. But the creation of the new character was a distant before that, because she is the first canonically autistic character added to D&D. Again, that is the incorrect wording. And if you actually were active in the disability community, you would know the correct wording is also happens to be on the spectrum or is neurodivergent. So apparently she's now claiming she designed the whole thing, wrote the whole thing. The character evolved during the writing. The character is apparently friends of a Medusa, but it's easy for her to make friends with a Medusa because her character never makes eye contact. She wants us to know she's autistic. She's not neurodivergent. She's not on the spectrum. She is autistic. All right. I don't know. In my 20 years of working with special needs, I don't know anyone who the very first thing they told me about themselves was they were autistic. They either never mentioned it at all or it came up way later. And I have worked with littles, like 2-year-olds, all the way up to 18, 19, 20 years olds. None of them refer to themselves as autistic when you first meet them. And when they do bring it up, they'll say, I'm autistic, or I'm on the spectrum, or I'm high functioning, or I'm neurodivergent. So blah, 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 blah. So she is claiming that her character created the deck of many things because there's no mention of who made it in 5th edition, despite the fact that the Forgotten Realms lore is very specific as to who created the deck of many things in the Forgotten Realms. Okay, but she's saying, nope, the 5e canon is my character helped create the deck of many things, not my character made a brand new deck of many things. So this is the other problem that we're having here. And this is the one that a lot of other people have made upset about. One, first claiming she created the deck of many things, which we know is historically incorrect. The deck of many things first appeared in 1975. And it was, reappeared. It's reappeared in every issue, every version. There's at least one adventure, if not more, that presents the deck of many thing in it. There's multiple iterations of the deck of many thing that have appeared in both official and unofficial products. The canon for the deck of many things in the Forgotten Realms, it was the creation of the Netheses. So, but because when 5e came out, I guess they're just saying the 5e history is that even though we said it was made by the Netheses, now we're saying it wasn't. We're saying she helped create it. She helped create an item that already existed. And she wants it to be a big thing because she wants to know that she's representing neurodivergent players in D&D by making this character who made something. Except that's not what we want. We don't want to see us just plastered on a new thing. If you want to make a character that represents neurodiversity or LGBTQ, you don't just turn an existing character into that to try and appease the crowd. You make a brand new character that we can latch onto and who creates something brand new. Don't tell me you made the deck of many things, Makenzie, because it already existed. Make something new that is unique to your character and unique to being neurodivergent or LGBTQ or whatever. Okay, so that is why she's gotten herself in so much trouble. Now, I've never met Makenzie. I don't know anything about her. I am trying to remain unbiased as possible. There are a lot of things about her statements that really upset me, especially since I'm autistic / on the spectrum, and since I have worked in the special needs community for so long. So there we go. But maybe she doesn't know the correct wording. Maybe she's just regurgitating the most recent things that people in her position feel they have to say. So as disgusted as I am, but a lot of the things she said and the self-gratification ego she's putting into it, and the fact that she's getting on the high horse of, oh, I've never been represented, in D&D, and the whole blah, 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 reverse racism, white people are bad, males are bad, whatever. I know more about D&D than you do, even though I've only been playing for 5 years. But look at me. I managed to create a product, insert my character into the product, so it's all just about me, and take responsibility for something my character didn't do, rather than creating a brand new character who creates a brand new item that is unique to neurodivergent, whatever. Okay. So yeah, that's it. Oh, we got some forgiveness. DM Kurt says, I can forgive her for using wrong language, for being on the spectrum. Different folks can describe themselves how they wish. Yes, you can describe yourself however you want, but the correct language, if she was educated and how to present it, especially in a article that was cut and paste multiple times, you should know the correct way. But pretty much everything else she's doing feels wrong. Yes, it does. I thought the OGGM was on the spectrum. No offense meant. I am on the spectrum. I've always been very open about the fact that I am diagnosed as being neurodivergent. I was diagnosed as horrible dyslexia when I was 8. And then the being high functioning was a diagnosis that was made about 10 years ago. So yeah, I am neurodivergent. But you will never hear me introduce myself to you. Is that the first thing I say? No. I'm autistic and my name is the OGGM. No, if it comes up at all, it either, it's a casual mentioning. Using self-interest characters is one of the most amateur things she does. Yes, she made this product about herself, about her character. It is all told from her character's point of view, and she is taking credit for something that canonically she didn't do, and she is making a claim that is incorrect because canonically she's not the first neurodivergent. That title goes to Elmo from Village of Hamlet. The best she could say, and the way she should have said it, is my character helped create the current deck of many things that is unique to this product. Mind you, the deck of many things in this book is different than the deck of many things in the DM's guide, and there's reasons why Wizards did that, or any of the previous editions of the deck of many things. Also, there's multiple iterations of the deck of many things that are both official and unofficial. Various variations of it appeared throughout the years in product, in Dragon Magazine, in third-party stuff. So there's not just one. So she had that as an out. This could have been a new deck of many things specific to this book that her character helped create. She's a princess who had a series of adventures that maybe drove her into paladinhood, but for some reason she's chaotic paladin, not lawful paladin. Because the deck of many things is an extremely chaotic magic item. And through a series of whatever, she helped create this item. Oh, by the way, her character is neurodivergent. But that's not the way she phrased it, and that's why she is getting so much hate. And unfortunately, that's going to stick with her going forward. And these 6 different magazines aren't helping because only one of them even knows a little bit about gaming. The others aren't gaming magazines. Superhero Hype, that's a comic book magazine. Esports, that's a magazine that covers FIFA and Fortnite and Gran Turismo. What are you doing talking about D&D? And each article basically is the same. All you did was cut and paste the same thing that she said. There's nothing really unique about each article. The only one that even mentions the fact that the book was actually made in 1975 is that. Loudly and repeatedly calling herself disabled. Is that something in addition to being on the spectrum, or is she trying to attention grab too hard for being on the spectrum? No, she wants us to be sure that not only is she autistic, she's disabled and autistic, even though her disability is bad eyes. And, she's on the spectrum. If she's got another disability, I don't know what it is. Is Minx neurodivergent? He certainly is played as neurodivergent, or at least, definitely seems to be high functioning. The way he talks, the way he acts. So I would say that Minx might, but if if we're talking about the very first, that's Elmo from Village of Hamlet. But of course, according to the 5th edition timeline, Minx doesn't exist until he appeared in 5e. Elmo doesn't exist because they haven't done a 5e version of Village of Hamlet. Plus, that's in Greyhawk. So she might be the first canonically autistic character in 5e, except, of course, there is no canon in 5e. Nothing that they have made is official. There is no core 5e world where things are official. They've written a bunch of adventures which you can choose to run or not run. And you can choose to run them in whatever order. You can ignore, and we know plenty of people do. So we also know that any claims you make to canon today on the 6th day of September are totally pointless because the canon ends on January 1st, 2024, and they start the brand new 2024 to 2027 canon. Nothing written before 2024 counts. Your own boss has said that. So you can fly the I'm the first canonically neurodivergent character in 5th edition for another couple months, but then, bam, you don't exist. We're starting over. Oh, so glad you spent 35 40 50 bucks on this book that is now completely pointless because it's a brand new edition, even though we're claiming it's not. So the first, I was like a lot of us, I was very angry with her claims when I first read them. But it's hard to be angry at her because she's just sort of pathetic. At least for me. I don't feel angry for her. I just feel kind of bad for her that she has dug herself this hole. Wizards of the Coast has allowed her to dig herself this hole. They did nothing. She's another Kyle Brink. They did nothing to stop her. They gave her full, say whatever you want. We're not going to edit you. And then, she regurgitated it again to all these different magazines. Now it's out there across the world. People are going to read this. And I'm going to bet you $1, DM James, that more people are going to be negative about this than they're going to be positive about this. And more negativity towards her and towards Wizards of the Coast has kind of come out of this. And much like Kyle Brink, once her number has run, they're just going to bury her. I mean, Kyle's gone. When was the last time he came up since the whole white people need to get out of the hobby? Right? No, he's been forgotten. Where's Jeannie Darling since she was on the live thing? She's already disappeared because, oops, she showed her boobies. And Wizards of the Coast does not want to be associated with boobies. And so, yeah, she's the flavor of the month. Wizards of the Coast has made her a stalking horse. She's saying all the things Wizards of the Coast thinks people want to hear. And when the press turns against her, as it inevitably, unfortunately, Makenzie will, they're going to leave her out in the wind to be the scapegoat and then just replace her with the next manic pixie dream girl who they think the populace wants to see. And then January, they can just, trash, wash, rinse, repeat, and give us a brand new 6th edition D&D where nothing before January 2024 matters. So, yeah, that's why I kind of feel bad for her that she dug herself this hole. And she's, look at all these wonderful things I did, but it's going to be, no, there's nothing wonderful about this. And the fact that these magazines printed it this way, and the facts that nobody is, fact checking you or handling you. Yeah, it's kind of sucky. For her. That said, how long before Pundit makes a video about this article, and how long before Condor makes a video about this article telling us all how horrible we are? Yeah. Just layer upon layer of mistakes that could have been easily avoided. It's almost like Wizards of the Coast wants to fail. What? I'm the OGGM. Let me know what you're thinking about this story, or do you even care? Hopefully, I've said all I'm going to say about it, and other people far smarter than me, like Grim Jim, can get into it. Until next time, I am your grumpy guide to all the tabletop role-playing game news, weather, and general internet nonsense, the uneducated, inexperienced, white belt scrub DM, asking you to take a moment of your time to subscribe to the OGGM Adventures and help me hit 2,000 subs. Till next time, get off my land, you damn kids.